Here is refugee camps for Sahrawi people who came from Western Sahara when Morocco occupied the land. And we live here in southwest of Algeria, near Tindouf.
Tens of thousands have been obliged to be refugees in Algeria, and a big part of the population came here in the end of 1975 and the beginning of 1976 in a very harsh and difficult condition in this desert, and we have to start from zero by building our own dispensaries, our school, our hospitals, our administration as a whole in the camps, but in the same time struggling inside the territory against the Moroccan occupation.
In 1975 and in 76, when Morocco invaded the territory, about 40% of the native population decided to flee into exile, eventually ending up in Algeria in a series of refugee camps, basically controlled and run by the Polisario Front with aid from the international community and Algeria. Today, the figures range between 100,000 to 150,000 refugees live in these camps.
To satisfy the minimum needs here, humanitarian needs, we need some $130 million a year. But unfortunately, the humanitarian assistance that we are receiving for refugees here, it's not more than $70 million a year. Every year, the number of donor countries are reducing. Focus is on the new emergency, in new conflicts, and they forget about the old operation, and in particular, regions that they don't have violence, war, that make our situation very difficult. So because it's not attractive, so attractive for the donor countries.
This population is victim of what you can call donation fatigue or humanitarian aid fatigue. National community giving every year less humanitarian aid. They're completely dependent on humanitarian aid. There's nothing to grow there. They simply sit there and wait for the referendum. They've been promised by the United Nations and by Morocco.
But in the camps, yes, it's very difficult condition, but finally we have freedom, we have dignity, and we have many choice, not material, but in the sentiment, in the experience.
هذا الأجواء وما يقدر حد يصبر عليها هنا. ليك أنت أرضك مقلوعة منك وهون تحاني أنت تشتغل الصحراء. إذا سمعت والله تعدلي لهم طريقة يا كانك تقيس يرضك.
Of course, we are fighting for independence, Western Sahara. That is in Morocco. It is a crime. If you are advocating for that one, they will take you to the jail. So for that reason, we cannot go back home to our country.
اكتشف سلامة فاطمة وحرية وريال على حفظ جدول الضرب في 9 حيث استعملت كل واحدة طريقة تسهل عليها حفظ الضرب.
Since when I was a kid, when I went to Algeria for the secondary school, each year I said, okay, I should succeed this year because I may not go back to Algeria. We may get our freedom this summer. Who knows? So how come we keep thinking this way? You can't stop dreaming. Till now we can't stop dreaming. Even though when you graduate and come back home, there is no work, nothing to do, and life is the same. So the solution, it depends on us.
I wanted to come to the refugee camps because almost no Moroccan has come here to see the condition of the refugees themselves. Moroccans are very influenced by the propaganda that has been washing our brains for 40 years now. So I want people to start talking about it honestly and to really look at the problem and how it's a violation of human rights, violation of international law. It's the only country in Africa that's not part of the African Union because of this.
كنت ماشية مع صاحبتي آية. كنا رايحين نشتري عصير من عند الراجل اللي في الميدان. عنده أحسن عصير.
So I'm here as a part of the film festival. I'm one of the directors of the films that are being screened. So for the first time, this festival is screening a Moroccan film. And I will be conducting workshops with Sahrawi activists on how to create a story out of the footage they collect.
أنا ابتديت أقرب للناس هنا، ابتديت أسمعهم، ابتديت أشوف وشهم وملامحهم، فابتديت أسمع قضيتهم.
We're trying through internet, especially these young educated people. We're trying through social media, through many other websites. We're trying to spread the videos and some news about victims, about the demonstratives in occupied territory, about suffering in refugee camps.
The youth here are becoming more frustrated with the situation. I mean, being 40 years here, I can understand the frustration. And some of them are calling, a small minority are calling for a return to violence.
People in the Western Sahara nationalist movement are very frustrated with the lack of progress in the peace process. And so if you were to go to the refugee camps, you'd find a lot of sentiments in favor of returning to armed struggle. Whether or not it's a likely possibility, I don't know, but one can imagine a series of circumstances quite easily triggering a new war because the tensions are so high.
For me, I think there is only two solutions. Either to take it directly, we go to the borders, fight, make war, which is not the best solution, and the other solution, which is self-determination. This is the best one. Let us vote. Is Morocco afraid of something? Just let us vote. We will vote. Either to choose to be Moroccan citizen and people, she's not me, or to choose to have our free country, which is Western Sahara, with our government, with our free land, this is how it's be. Just let us vote.
It's problematic because referendum, you want to do identification to a population whom you don't know. Believe me, who's living in the camps? You will want to do identification to whom in the camps. We have historical links with the North. We have the same traditions, the same race, the same language. Everything is the same. You can't just divide these two regions. It's linked.
We still believing in peace, and we still believing that United Nations is able to do something. But they are in need really to push this thing hard, because you cannot really control the feeling and the sentiment of people, and especially that 60% of people in the camp are youth, are people who are born not after the beginning of the war, but many of them after the ceasefire. For them, United Nations really must assume its responsibility.